Okay, we left off on example 2, yes? On A, we had looked at a graph. They first asked us if this specific value, is there a value of x equals c on the given interval of -2 to 5? Okay, so is there a place where f of c equals 1? And we said yes. Right here, there's a y value of 1. It exists, but does IVT guarantee it exists? And we had to say no because it's not continuous. Because at 2 there is a jump discontinuity. Okay, so now we're picking up on C. Is there a value of x equals c on the interval 1 to 6 such that g of c equals 3?
No.
Yes.
That was a quick no. And that was a yes. Okay.
1 and 6. At the x value 3 it exists. About 0.5.
We're not looking at x value of 3 though. G of c means a y value of 3 on the interval of
No.
1 to 6. So no, because there's no value between 1 and 6 where g of c equals 3. Or in other words, where the y value is 3. Okay?
No, because look at the graph.
Yeah. There is no value on 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 6 such that f of c equals 3.
Technically, it does not say that.
Valid. Does IVT guarantee a value of c on the interval 1 to 6 such that g of c equals 3 and justify?
So I'm gonna say here.
I wouldn't say
That
no, but it's continuous.
No, there's a jump discount.
No.
I don't. It can't insure one obviously because there's not one. So there's no way it can insure one.
So, and by the way, were we thrown off at first? Where is the only place y equals 3?
Outside.
Outside of the 1 to 6 domain they give us, right? Okay, so now the key is, and I'm trying to remember, okay, you guys already talked continuity for me. 1 to 6, we can see that it is continuous, but we also know it doesn't exist, so what's the other piece of this? And the other piece of it, if you go back to the previous page where it says using if-then statements, if a function is continuous on a closed interval and f of a does not equal f of b, then f of x takes on every value between f of a and f of b. My a and b are 1 and 6. What is f of 1? F of 1 is what?
1. No.
1.5 maybe?
Yeah.
What is f of 6? -1. What's the problem with 3? It's not between -1 and 1.5. So continuity passed this time. It's the key that 3 is not in the range between -1 and 1.5. That's the catch this time.
Or here's my thing. If there's not a point there, it can't guarantee a value because there is no value. So how would it guarantee a value? Because there's no one.
Well, but this is if we don't have the graph to look at, like, and we just have the information. This is knowing how to use our information here. So, no.
Well, we wouldn't know without the graph where the values are at.
Well, but if they gave you the information, like of what f of a and f of b are. IVT will not guarantee a value f of c equals 3 because f of 1 equals 1.5, f of 6 equals -1, and 3. Actually, I think I just stopped there, actually.
It's G of C2.
G of 6, G of 4.
Oh, I put F, didn't I? Yeah, they should be G's. I tend to default to F's if I don't think hard enough about it. And right there, folks, I mean, you've stated the information here. Yes, you can go to maybe even more of a conclusion, but IVT says that 3 has to be between -1 and 1.5, and it's not. That's what IVT says. Okay? Okay. At the bottom of this page, we have 3 blanks to fill in. What 3 conditions are necessary to apply IVT?
The domain has to be continuous.
Okay. So F is continuous on the interval A to B, is my fancy way of saying this. So F is continuous on A to B. Okay. Your words versus my words, same thing.
F of C has to fall in between F of A and F of B.
Okay. F of C must be between F of A and F of B.
Where do you put?
It doesn't matter which blanks you put them in, And the other one I read earlier when I went to the if-then part, but we didn't really experience it in our 2 examples there. When I read it, I said y equals f of x is
It has to be a closed interval.
closed interval, that's kind of already there. I mean, that's
And F of A can't equal F of B.
right. F of A cannot equal f of B. Which, if f of A and f of B are the same, it'd really be hard to find anything where f of C is between them unless f of C also is the same as them. So, okay, that's the idea of IVT. Let's go look to do some applying. Apply the IVT, if possible, on the intervals 0 to 5, so that f of C equals 1 for the function f of x equals x squared plus x minus 1. Now, I have most of these answers as kind of a 1, 2, 3 thing. In terms of, we just listed 3 conditions on the previous page, yes?
Yes.
We need to prove those 3 conditions. So, first condition. What is the first condition we have to discuss to decide if IVT applies?
It's continuous.
It's continuous. Is it continuous?
Okay, yeah.
And why have we said it's continuous? It's a, what I would use the terminology is polynomial. Okay. On mine, sometimes I write that f of x is continuous because all polynomials are continuous. On this one, I just have f of x is continuous on the reals, like that fancy R I showed you the other day. Okay, so, and the point is we are stating it is continuous. So f of x is continuous on, I'm going to use that fancy R,
that mean again?
The reals. All real numbers. Which remember, all reals are pretty much everything except imaginaries. And we don't talk imaginary numbers in calculus. At least I know. I don't remember ever. I don't think they ever come up.
Yes.
Calculus is only in the real numbers. So excited he threw his pencil.
I hate imaginary numbers.
Okay. What was my condition 2? I don't know what order you guys put them in.
A can equal B, so
F of A cannot equal F of B. So what do I need to find here?
oh, it's not just 0 and 5.
Well,
F of 0 and F of 5.
right. A is 0, B is 5, so I need to see what F of 0 is and F of 5 is.
F of 0 would just be -1.
Fair enough.
And F of 5 would be 29.
I think so.
Yeah, that's not hard. I just did it real quick. I didn't actually break it down. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we still good? Can I keep going? -1 does not equal 29, so we're still good, yes?
Yep.
Okay. Third part then. Continuous. Endpoints are not the same. F of C must be between F of A and F of B. Whoops.
So that means we're plugging 1 to this.
Well,
1 is in between -1 and 29.
right. What we need to figure out for F of C to be between F of A and F of B is 1 between -1 and 29.
Yes.
Yes. So, does IVT work here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I'm going to write more words than you want to write, but that's all right.
You can just write -1 is less than or equal to 1, which is less than or equal to 29.
Well, I'm going to officially cite IVT. By IVT, I'm going to show you some official notation. There are ways to shortcut.
Put that at the end.
Well, this is the end. This is the end. I-
Can I keep you 1, 2, 3, and then
Oh, well, the end and 3 are combined. So by IVT, there exists a value C such that F of C equals 1 since trying to decide how I'm going to write this. By IVT, there exists a value C such that F of C equals 1
F of C.
1 since F of X takes on every value, and then I'm going to say -1 less than F of X less than 29. So it takes on every value between -1 and 29. And officially, I can say on the interval 0 to 5. 0 less than or equal to X less than or equal to 5. Important pieces. I cited IVT. Okay? There exists a value. I say that F of C equals 1. And then I showed the interval between -1 and 29. Okay, those are some important things to point out. Okay. Questions there?
So how are we gonna know if it's like not continuous at some point?
We'll talk about it when we get to one. I don't even know if we get to one today. I don't remember, but Yeah, we will. We'll talk about it. Okay, 2. Use the intermediate value theorem to show that f of x has a 0 in the interval 0 to 1. So, step 1. What are you asking yourself?
Is it continuous? Polynomials or trinomial?
Polynomial. It would be a cubic. It'd be cubic because it's power of 3. It's trinomial because there's 3 terms. But all we care is it's a polynomial. It's continuous. So on this one I wrote polynomials are everywhere continuous.
Yeah, by the way, Mr. Steve sent a text to me, Brady, Nate, and Jake asking if any of us can do middle school football scoreboard tonight. And I was like, Brady and I are at Carroll tonight.
I even talked to him about soccer and Carol tonight. Because I talked to him about does Carol have lights, so. Okay, continuing.
F of 0 is -1, f of 1 is 2.
Okay.
And those don't equal, so it's good.
F of 0. Are you okay with that, Eli?
Yep.
Equals -1. You guys are ahead of where I am. F of 1 is 2. And I did state on this particular one, I said that f of 0 does not equal f of 1. I mean, -1 doesn't equal 2. But it's more about f of A doesn't equal f of B.
0 falls in between it.
Okay. And then to decide the third one, we're asking, is there a 0? What does a 0 mean? Someplace where f of c would equal 0. Is there going to be a 0?
Yeah.
Yeah, because 0 is between -1 and 2, as he was saying. Okay. This one I stated a little bit differently, or maybe it's what she did when, I looked at hers, but
Yeah, mine's going to be copy and paste change numbers.
okay. Well, I'm just going to show something different here. On this one I have, since f of 0 is less than 0, and I'm not saying copy and paste, change the numbers, isn't fine. F of 1 is greater than 0, then there exists a value such that f of c equals 0. On the interval 0 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 1 by IVT. That's nothing else. I'm just showing you. There's not just one way to write these. Okay? Okay? Moving along?
Yep.
Moving along. A car travels on a straight track. During the time interval 0 to 60 seconds, the car's velocity v, measured in feet per second, is a continuous function. The table below shows selected values of the function. A, for 0 to 60, must there be a time t when v equals -5, and B, justify your answer. Really, basically, we're back to, does IVT apply? Okay? So, I'm not even breaking it into A and B. I'm going 1, 2, 3 again.
Well, I reckon there's got to be a time where it equals -5 because it goes from -10 to 0.
1, it's continuous. 2,
I guess are you saying like in a car you can kind of like skip miles per hour? I guess if you
Well,
accelerate fast enough.
And here's the deal. if they don't put that word continuous in there, and you just have this table, yeah, we can read into it and assume when you're accelerating, decelerating, you hit every value. I get that logic, but if you just have a table of values, we can't assume continuity unless it tells me. Now, it is typical for them to put in the stem of a problem that something is continuous. Okay, so don't just like, well, I have no idea if it's continuous. Reread. They probably told you that it is, if you need continuity to proceed. Am I making sense there? Okay, so I know it's continuous because they told me here. So all I'm going to say here, I don't even have to just, I'm just going to say V of t is continuous. There's nothing to even justify because they just flat out told me.
You know, unless this guy straight up turned around, those velocities are wrong. Because it shows him going 2 different directions.
We're not even going to go there. Okay, what about part 2?
So you gotta do between 0 and 60.
Yeah, we're on the interval 0 to 60.
So that 0.
V of 0 is?
0, 50.
Huh?
Negative 20. It's t of 0, not v of 0.
No, it's V of 0. T is 0. V of 0 is what is the velocity at time 0. And then we also need V of 60. So what is the velocity at time 60? That's 10. And wait a minute. Oh, okay. I should have looked at my notes closer. Okay, we're going to keep going here. That still works, doesn't it? Yeah. In the example here, she actually used just 35 to 50 instead of the entire 0 to 60 because when does this -5 happen? Right there. Now, I don't see any reason we couldn't still use 0 to 60 because are these endpoints still going to show it happens?
Yep.
They are. Now, if those endpoints didn't show it happens, then I would think, okay, maybe narrow it down. Okay, but in here, it still works. So I just got confused when I looked at my notes. So I'm going to stick with what I was. V of 0 does not equal V of 60. So what can we say here?
Yes. By IV T there is a time where V of T equals -5 because -20 is less than or equal to -5 and that's less than or equal to 10.
Which really I should, instead of saying V of t here, well, no.
V of t.
Yeah.
Unless there be a time t and v of t.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a time where V of t equals -5 because V of t is between -20 and 5. And then we could say on the interval 0 to 60.
I feel like the homework can't lie the notes. Shouldn't be a lot.
The homework is sometimes longer than notes, sometimes it's shorter than notes. Okay, question, Eli?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say that we're trying to find v of t when it equals -30. So that'd be intervals of 0 to 25, but -20, -20 equal each other. So that would invalidate the second rule. Yeah. Correct?
Well, but why couldn't you just use like, just
So that's when you narrow it down.
because it, like you narrowed it down to 0 to 25, but what about 15 to 25? Or 0 to 15? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that says, I mean, it's kind of an oddity. It is kind of an oddity because there's nothing that really says, though, in the interval couldn't be an endpoint of the interval.
I think he's asking like if the question was between the times 0 and 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. If it said on the interval 0, well, but you could still
Then it's
narrow it
maybe
down.
25.
Yeah, because on the interval 0 to 25, 0 to 15 is on that interval, 15 to 25 is on that interval, and since it's a table, you don't have all the values at your disposal. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think you could do that. I mean, based on, as I said, based on what she did here, where if you look in my notes, she never used 0 and 60. She used 35 and 50.
Gotcha.
So, she picked a spot where -5 was in between. Okay. Let g of x be a continuous function. Selected values of g of x are given in the table below. For which value of k will the equation g of x equals 3/4 have at least two solutions on the closed interval 2 to 8? Okay, you ready to try and dissect this?
Sure.
I was trying to give you guys a moment to, there's a lot to take in here. First of all, are we still using IVT? Yeah, they start off right off the bat with continuous, okay? Now, selected values of GK are given. We're trying to find K here, right? So K is either 1, 3/4, 9/16, or 3/2. We want to have at least two solutions on the interval 2 to 8. Okay? So we're looking for at least making two places where g of x would equal 3/4. So the best way I can explain this is a visual sketch. Okay? This is going to be real basic. Two, 3. 3, 4. 5, 5. And I shouldn't have put the extra points in. 8, 2. Now, what we don't know is this 4 value, right? That's what we don't know. We're trying to find on the 4 line what the y value is. The equation g of x equals 3/4. What's another representation of g of x? If we put this in equation form, g of x is a fancy way to say y. What does the equation y equals 3/4 look like? Y equals 3/4 is what?
Greater than 1 is asymptote.
What'd you say?
Get asymptote or a line, I guess.
A line. Just a line here. And the idea of two solutions is we want this graph to cross, we want it to hit 3/4 twice, which means what's it have to do? It's going to connect, then it has to come down here, go down here, so that it crosses 3/4 at least twice.
So basically, K has to be less than 3/4.
Because we need a value right here that's going to take me below the red line. What value takes me below the red line?
9/16.
Right? Because what? 12/16 would be the equivalence of 3/4? Does the visual help?
Yes.
I'll be honest, I had to have the visual to process this one. And I don't even know if I could explain it without the visual. Okay?
10 minutes.
We're going to do the best we can. Number 7. Whoops. Okay, for the function f of x equals, nice piecewise function. Find f of 5 and f of 10. Does IVT guarantee a y value on the interval 5 to 10 such that f of k is between f of 5 and f of 10? Justify your answer.
Oh, okay, I said that. I just had to.
So it starts off by saying find f of 5 and f of 10, yes?
I feel like it's not necessarily continuous, so.
Well, is that something we're going to have to decide?
Yeah.
I mean, they say does IVT guarantee? What's the condition of IVT guarantee? Continuous. So, yeah, we're going to have to talk about this. Now, they do first say find f of 5 and f of 10, so let's start there.
So
Are you-
basically what they're saying is it's not going to be continuous, but they still want to make us do more work.
Yep.
Because
Okay.
continuous is going to be the first one we're going to try.
What's f of 5?
It would be 4.
Because when they want f of 5, you have to use the top definition, yes? What's f of 10?
6.
Because when they want anything from 5 to 10, you have to use the bottom definition. And this is on the interval from 5 to 10, yes? So those are your endpoints, essentially. Now, we need to discuss continuity, as Logan pointed out. What has to be true for continuity? I mean, right here,
Well, there's a
from 5 to 10 is just one function, yes?
jump discontinuity.
Is there?
So again,
Okay.
from 4 to 6, it's going to both the x value 5.
So, and I mean, visual again is a big thing, you know, another good way to, from 5 to 10, it's just a straight line, yes? 10 is included, 5 is not included. At f of 5, we determined it to be 4. It's almost continuous except at 5. Okay? There's a hole, there's a point discontinuity, there's a jump. Now, what we could say to show discontinuity there, because the picture isn't exactly what they want, the limit from the left has to equal the limit from the right, has to equal the point at the value. Well, let's start with the limit as x approaches 5 from the right,
Why are we doing this?
because we have to prove continuity. The picture doesn't officially.
We just proved continuity with them 5 and f 6 or f 10.
We just showed what the endpoints are. Okay, here, hang with me here. The limit as we approach 5 from the right. What y value are we approaching? 6. the limit as x approaches 5 from the right. Well, here's the deal. What does it not equal? It does not equal the point at the right. So it does not equal f of 5. Okay? Just saying that the endpoints aren't the same. You know, f of 10 is an endpoint. Are you seeing what I'm saying? I don't think you like what I'm saying.
Me?
Either of you. F of 10 is an endpoint. So I can't just say, oh, the endpoints are the same, it's not continuous. We have to show the limit as it approaches 5 from the right does not equal the point at 5.
I was just putting the limit approaching 5 from the left and right don't equal.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to say IVT does not apply since f of x is not continuous on the interval 5 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 10. Okay. And then there is no guarantee. They wanted us to say f of k is between f of 5 and f of 10. It might be, but there's no guarantee. No guarantee.
I feel like you just need that first sentence.
I do too, but f of 5 less than f of k less than f of 10.
Yeah, you just need the first sentence on the right. Yeah.
Okay. Ready for 8 then? Okay. The functions f and g are what? Get it out of the way now since we're running out of time. Continuous, right? And they told us both are. Haven't even read the problem yet. The table below gives values of the functions at selected values. The function h is given by g of f of x plus 2. Explain why there must be a value w between 1 and 6 such that h of w equals 0. Okay. Not giving you much time to think because I gotta get moving. 1, it told us that what? F and G are continuous. Now, what are we really being asked about? We're being asked about H. But what do they define H to be? H is a composition of G and F. So if G and F are continuous, we can then state that H is continuous. Okay, so F and G are continuous, so H of X is also continuous. Okay, because really, H of X is what's going to matter here. 2. What do we need to know about then?
H of A, H of B,
And A and B are
1, 6.
1 and 6. So I need H of 1 and H of 6. So H of 1, how do we find H? G of F of 1 plus 2. G of 2 plus 2. You guys are ahead of me, that's fine. Negative 12 plus 2. Did you say negative 10?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm there, just a lot slower. H of 6.
30.
G of F of 6 plus 2. G of 8 plus 2. 28 plus 2. So H of 6 is indeed 30.
Police Tucker, there are snacks here in the high school office. Please
Okay.
grab them before you leave. Thank you.
Would that just be, that would explain it then, because
Well, yeah, they're not equal to each other.
they have to be between negative 10 and 30.
Yeah.
So they have to be
And right there, so
and 0 is between those two.
0, yep, you got it. You got it, that's your step 3. So, by IVT, there exists a value. And I am going to say this time it's a value, what was it that they wanted? W. Okay, so x equals W. Where h of W equals 0. Since h of 1 is less than 0 is less than h of 6.
I just said h of w equals 0 because by IVT h of w must be continuous from -10 to.
Okay.
I'll do it on the tests and quizzes, but
The only
I'm
thing,
shortened down.
and I get it, but my thing is, we need to practice some, please. Because if we don't practice some, are you going to remember how to do it when you need to do it? That's what, that's the key. And that's why you're not going to see me, sometimes I will get in a hurry or whatever and I'll skip it, but you're not going to see me skip it every time because if we don't ever practice the appropriate notation, it's tough to write.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure IVT's on there.